Hello, everyone. Mackie here. It is the 7th of April, 2026. It is 10 a.m. at the time of recording this. So, I wanted you to know that Easter weekend and Easter Monday is finally over. And now we can finally breathe, knowing that we're going to have another week of League of Legends to cover, of course. But for now, the chaotic weekend that is League of Legends is over. We got two more matches to cover, of course, before we close out the week. These are two LEC matches only, and both of them went to 3 games. So first off is Giant X versus Heretics, and it was an interesting series to be honest. Jackie's was incredible. Heretics put up a good game on ice. It was pretty much like protect ice and he can carry the game, and they did. And unfortunately, Giant X with the brilliance of top lane and Jax, and it was a slow burn of a game three in which Giant X could control, and then won, of course. So here are the numbers. Isma on Vi in the jungle, 4 or in 5, perfect KDA, 75 kill participation, 9.8k damage. For game 2, Ice on Yonara, 11, 4 and 3, 3.5 KDA, 78 kill participation, and 29.5k damage. And Lot on the top lane, 2, 0 and 4, perfection KDA, 67 kill participation, and 15.9k damage. For my 3 stars of the game, Jackie's 11, 4 and 6, 4.3 KDA, 53 kill participation, and 59.9k damage. Lot on the top 5, 2 and 14, 9.5k KDA, 59 kill participation, and 55.2k damage. And Isma on the jungle 7, 4 and 17, 6 KDA, 75 kill participation, and 34.9k damage. My team of the series are Trace in the top 1, 6 and 4 with a zero point 0.8 KDA. And I don't know if let me just see if I have the let me see I have the numbers for the damage and the kill participation. Yeah, 23% kill participation. Jesus. 23% kill participation. That is just unheard of. And 49k damage. So top lane get absolutely gapped, of course, and also 6 deaths does not help as well. So Giant X started this whole thing 3-0 to kick off the LEC Spring. That is incredible. Although they have not faced the mighty big three of your G2s, your Common Corps, your Koi, of course. If we look at enemy, I mean, this is not disrespecting Giant X and Jackie's, who's been balling out, of course, in this tournament. I mean, if you look at the 3 games they've won, they've beaten Fnatic, who was, I think I said, of course, before the G2 series, they look like the weakest team ever, and it shows. They beat SK Gaming, which, let's be honest, not everybody's gonna beat SK Gaming, and they beat Heretics. So they face off against like 3 not so great middle of the pack teams, of course. By next week, and next week, of course, will be the real litmus test for this team. So in the schedule, by the way, they will face off against Shifters, right? And then they can face off against Navi. Actually, they will face off against Shifters, the only game of the week, of course. And I believe this is going to be an easy dub. So they might be going 4-0. Then they have to face off against Navi, Team Vitality, and Koi. Ooh, okay, we are in the middle of the schedule. And then G2 and then Common Corp. In, of course, in uh France, in Common Corp's home. So they don't have to face off against the big three until the final week of the season, the final week of the regular split. By that time, they might be like, I don't know, 6-0, 5-1, maybe qualify for the playoffs already. And, seeding matters, of course, in the playoffs, although we all know what happened in LEC versus that the seeding does not matter. But in terms of like the growth of this Giant X team is something to be behold of. And if they can keep it up and put up amazing wins, maybe they could get like one defeat from like Team Vitality and Navi. I don't think they're gonna go undefeated, of course. But if they can get to like 5-1 or 6-1 before the big weekend, that's massive. That will be absolutely massive for them. So yeah, I think Giant X is on to a great start, going 3-0. Fatality versus MKOI was the rematch of the most famous bug game, of course, in which Jojo Pin called it a bug. It lose Vitality the momentum and pretty much the series. This is a regular season version, but you can say that this is more like Vitality's revenge tour. And it got the revenge. But honestly, man, this was So weak for MKOI. So weak, especially Super. 6'8", 13, 2.4 KDA, 63 kill participation, and 62.7k damage. He was absolutely not great for this team. And even in game 3, when Karzi actually popped off with a kill in 5, 2, and 6, 5.5 KDA, 79 kill participation, and 26.1k damage. It was just, I think, Hysterics did mention on the cast, by the way, that it was just I I think there were so many mistakes by Core and MKOI they should avoid. Like if you look at the map, like if you look at game 3, and we'll get to the rest of the series, of course. But if you look at game 3, this was a Mad Lions game. It was Fall God, they're no longer Mad Lions. A Movistar Koi game. It was a Koi game from like about the early stages. Kind of stumbled a bit, and then it was dominant. They were cruising to a 3K goal lead with Cloud Dragon. They were absolutely doing the finest thing. And then they literally lost it all step by step until nothing, kind of back, and then gone. Like MKOI just made so many mistakes. And Humanoid did not play the best game. 3, 4, and 5 on the way, 18.1k damage. He did not have a great game. Linkus did. Linkus did. And I would have put Linkus as my third game MVP, of course, with 6, 1, and 5 with a 79 kill participation and 13.9k damage on the Aatrox. But I have to give it to Karzi, man. He was absolutely smurfing on that Caitlyn. And by the way, 26.1k damage is just nuts, of course, especially in a game 3 like this. For the rest of the series, Fleshy was incredible on the Nami. Yes, I have to put a support as my player of the game. Because if I don't put a support in the player of the game, there will be many people who've been playing support in League of Legends going to criticize me and chastise me and saying, why can you give support some love, goddammit? And it will be horrible. So I decided to give Fleshy his due. Yes, I would have given Karzi the MVP. Yes, I would have given Linkas the MVP, of course. I would have given that, but I decided just give some support, some love. 4, 1, and 5, 15 on the Nami, 79% kill participation, and 8.3k damage. Yes, support doesn't have a low number, but it's the impact, it's the kill participation with almost 80% kill participation, and it's brilliant roaming around the map. It's just amazing. I just admire supports that have roaming around the map. Also because of like the RFT GG ratings, of course. So I kind of look at it, but I have to give support a play of the game at some point. So on game 2, Elioya was brilliant on the vibe, 4 and 6 on perfection, 71 kill participation at 13.2k damage. And as for the aforementioned, Karzi coming back to hunt his former team. By the way, he was used to be an MKOI / Mad Lions player back in the days. So for him, it's kind of like a little bit of revenge for him. And he put up a decent performance. He was not my first star, by the way. It goes to Linkas. 14, 4, and 19, 8.3 KDA, 77 kill participation, and 40.6k damage, and one of the coolest aura farming look at the camera I've ever seen. I think Kato reacted to it. And he kind of look at the camera and just like absolutely just do the salute. This guy is amazing. I like this Linkas guy. Also from the Vitality Stars, Karzi, 13, 6, and 13, 4.3 KDA, 60 kill participation, and 68.2k damage. Fleshy on the support, 4, 6, and 25, 4.8 KDA, 67 kill participation, and 18.6k damage. I mentioned my team on the series was Super, who was not looking super. I was going to say the long word, of course, but that would be too much of me and a waste in time. So, with that, that concludes the second week of LEC action with G2 and all the other teams, of course. It is time for us to award the best of the best by giving out the 3 stars and the Teemo of the week. But not just the LEC alone. Oh no. We got a lot of stars and Teemos to give out throughout this week. And if you notice that I decided to not do this let's wait for the motorcycle. In case many people do not know, I do not give out individual awards by having combined performances. It's like, let's just say Jackie's done well in his 2 games, of course, and I will combine those 2 games and have the best performance. No, I will look for individual games in those matches, those specific matches that makes you feel like, wow, this guy performed so well. It's kind of like the whole thing with Leader. Of course, Leader will have like one incredible game or incredible series 1 minute and then absolutely stink up the next. The same thing with Broken Blade with G2. You can have one incredible series and then of course fall off. But I just want to look at individual games only. to see how this guy performed against, well, let's say some not great competition, but brilliant, but competition nonetheless. And I will use that as my way to shine that player for this week. So let me give you an example. Jackie from Giant X and mid lane was incredible against SK Gaming on April 5th. He played a Rise and Ari, both deathless, of course. 6-0-7 on the perfection, 4-0-18 on the perfection, 76 kill participation with a 26 point K damage on the Rise, and 81 kill participation at 42.7 K damage. Overall, he's 10-0-25 with a perfect KDA, 80 kill participation at 69 kill participation, kill damage, 69K damage. And I think he was the best performing player on that team at that day against SK. And yes, SK has not been great, but Jackie's performance was incredible. But I had to give love with Broken Blade as well. He is unfortunately the recipient of not only the second star of the week, but also the team of the week in the same week. That just shows you, you know, um, how good he is, but also how flawed he is at the same time. It happens with pro players, of course. But for now, let's give him a praise, of course, for his incredible performance against the Heretics team on the 4th of April. His sham performance included that 1v3 play is just mind melting, of course. He have an 8 KDA, 80 kill participation, and 21.1k damage at a 4-1-4 start. And then, of course, his Poppy, he did not do much, but he was marvelous. 2-0-4, perfect 88, 50 kill participation, and 18.9k damage. 6-1-8 on the 14 KDA with 64 kill participation and 40k damage. It was magnificent on Heretics, and so does G2. I would have given it to Skumon, of course, but I think Broken Blade deserves a lot of love, of course. It was brilliant. The Shen game was amazing. The Poppy game is just contributed to the team. He was brilliant on his unique peaks as Upset. And I will have to give Upset the 3rd star because I think it was the driving force for that incredible win against G2. I would have given a lot of other people the 3rd star, of course. I would have given it to, you know, Linkas and of course to Naknako. But I had to give it to Upset because he was the driving force of Fnatic's comeback win against G2. If you want to call it an upset, fine. But I would say a comeback win nonetheless. He was not great in the Corki, 0-1-1, a 1 KDA, 50 kill participation, 11.5k damage. But look at the last 2 games. 2 perfect KDAs. First on Yanara, 9-0-8, 77 kill participation and 36 kill damage. And Zaya, 6-0-7, perfection, 65 kill participation at 21.3k damage. He was brilliant, and I think so is Fnatic as well. I would have given it to Vladdy, of course, as my 3rd star. I would. But I think it's about like putting up damage, being the front and center of this team when it mattered the most. I think that's really important as an AD carry. He was the main carry on this team, and he needed to show up and step up against a pretty good G2 team, and he did. And for that, I had to give him a 3rd star. Unfortunately, he was not the most impressive player, of course. I would go to Jackie's. And I know this is like, oh, I can be showing them for 2-0 results. And that's fine. Yeah, I gotta be a little biased. But this is my list and my thing, so just leave me alone, of course. But I had to give Upset his flowers because I think he performed so well and he deserved every bit of it. And to do this against G2 is amazing. And as I mentioned, Broken Blade deserved the team of the week. And he was awful. Absolutely awful. Which is a given. But his Ambessa and his Ambessa and Renekton play. Why do I have to write Broken Blade's name? Jesus. There you go. His Ambessa and Renekton play was just not it. 2-1-3, 2-1-1 on Cassante, 3 KDA and 30 kill participation and 19k damage, and then it was like, Jesus. Both Ambessa and Renekton go for 0-14-3 with a .4 KDA in the middle and 60 kill participation at 32.6k damage combined. He went 0-7-0 with Ambessa with no kill participation. If you go no kill participation with Ambessa of all people, that is just shameful display, of course. And the Renekton game just absolutely was awful. And it just goes to show you that the Shen and the Poppy, these crazy picks of what Broken Blade are good at. If you give him like, the meta picks, your Renekton's and the Bessas in the meta game, I don't think he's that kind of guy. He's that good, of course, but we never see him do well on Rumble. We never see him do well on Ambessa. I'm not saying that he's a bad player, of course. And same thing with like Dokla. He's not a bad player, but it's just like this was not a great performance by a top laner, to be honest. And the 215.4 KDA, 30 kill participation, and 17.2k damage, it just pretty much speaks to how poor he was. But hey, listen, G2 will bounce back. It's fine. We know G2 regular season is not the best in the business. It's about playoffs and all the kind of stuff. So maybe I'll be wrong in the next couple of days or weeks. Who knows? And now it's time for us to give us some more words. First off, we go to the LCS. And I had to give a big love to Jose Dodo for Teemo in the jungle, who was instrumental in the win against FlyQuest. It was not a pretty series, to be honest. And if you're Law, you're like, hey, you beat FlyQuest, but you just how do I say this? It's not convincing enough to feel like, hey, are you good enough to like challenge the elite, like the Lion and the Cloud9s of the world? That's gonna be the biggest question going in the next couple of weeks. But for now, let's just enjoy the brilliance of Jose Dodo. 9-1-14 on the Pantheon, 23 KDA, 88 kill participation, and 28.5k damage. Xin Zhao 3-1-1, 457 kill participation, and 13.3k damage. And his signature Lee Sin, 11-2-10, and 10.5 KDA, 77 kill participation, and 21.9k damage. That is an incredible Lee Sin game. He's got 25 and 27 and 9.4 KDA, 74 kill participation, and 21.2k damage. He was outstanding for that Team Liquid team, or Law team, and he deserved a top star. Thanatos also deserves some love. I was going back and forth to say, oh, Sven deserves a top star, of course, in that Cloud9 series against Lion. But when I heard about David Shinox, and then, of course, I look at the numbers, and then I feel like, yeah, I believe like Thanatos deserves some praise. Rumble 1, 3, and 4, not his best performance, 1.7, 83 kill participation at 24k damage, but it's Renekton in Gwen game, which is unbelievable. Like the difference between Broken Blade Renektar and Thanatos Renekton is just night and day. And there's another better Renekton player we'll get to later, of course. But he got 8 KDA, 47 kill participation, and 16.7k damage. And it's Gwen 4, 3, and 6, 3.3 KDA, 56 kill participation, and 38k damage. Overall, 10, 7, and 13, 3.3 KDA, 56 kill participation, and 26.2k damage. He was the shining light on that team that finally get revenge on Lion, and I believe, I think it's going to, I'm not saying help Cloud9 moving forward. They still have some issues, of course, they have to deal with, but this is going to give them some relief, knowing that they finally get over a team that is still good enough, but kind of like, you know, their reason why they have fallen apart, of course. So that's a good win. Yes, I know they crushed Dignitas, and it was bad, of course, but I have to give B4 his love for the Shopify Rebellion team. 7-0-8 on the Corki, Perfection, 63 kill participation on 43.7k damage, and Caitlyn 10, 2, and 3 at a 6.5 KDA, 76 kill participation on 23.3k damage, 17, 2, and 11, 14 KDA, 68 kill participation and 67 K damage. I would love to give it to Zinni. Zinni was incredible. Of course, we get to see the Zinni performance that we all been wanted for so long. And his Annie play was incredible in game 2, but I have to give B4. He was dominating the lane. He was dominating that lane and just dominated overall. And once you dominate lane and dominate the game overall, I think I'll give you some numbers. Unfortunately for XU, he was not dominating game and not dominating numbers, and he was my team of the week for LCS. Skarner, 1, 9, and 3. Captain Flowers is absolutely disappointing in you. 0.4 KDA, 80 kill participation, 17k damage. Pantheon, 1, 6, and 2. 0.5 KDA, 50 kill participation, and 9k damage. Ugh. 2, 15, and 5. 0.5 KDA, 64 kill participation, and 25.9k damage. This was not the best stuff from a player that is on a really horrible team, to be honest. Like, I just don't know if you're Dignitas, what are you going to do? You can't sell him, and you can't do, and your team is not good enough. So it's like, it's content or bust. But even then, I'm not even sure if anybody going to expect Dignitas. If I mention Dignitas in any sentence, I will lose like 20 views. See? That's just 20 views gone right there. So I have to move on. Anyways, let's go to the LCK. And yes, I know the Korean language is a little bit different. It is simply 3 stars in Team of the Week in Korean form, of course. I kind of use a little AI help, of course. Now, for the first star, I have to go with Perfect. Absolutely perfecto in that game against T1. Well, not perfect, of course, but the name itself just want me to speak that perfection. Jace 3-0-4 on the perfect KDA, 58 kill participation and 20.9k damage. Vayne in the top lane. I mean, we see Dukla did it, but now we see like almost everybody do it. And he was brilliant. 8-2 and 9, 8.5 KDA, 63 kill potential, a 31.4k damage, 11-2 and 13 with a 12 KDA, 62 kill participation, and 52.4k damage. My God, he was amazing. Amazing against a really good T1 team that, let's be honest, I was never expected the 2-0 to be coming. I was expected KT also to win, but I never expected the 2-0. I was never expected to dominate 2-0. Like, it's incredible, and Perfect was the catalyst for it, and it was amazing. I had to get some support and some love. La hands on against, DK on the 2nd of April on the National Bread Force team was brilliant. And Nivea support. Who saw that coming? Amazing. 2, 1, and 10, 12 KDA, 63 kill participation, and 15k damage. 15k damage on a Nivea support. Bro. And of course, he hooked well with Nautilus 1, 2, and 17 with a 9 KDA, 86 kill participation, and 55.1k damage. Overall, 3, 3, and 27, 10 KDA, 75 kill participation, and 20.1k damage. That is amazing. That is amazing to do that in, like, I mean, yes, I know DK is like a middle of the pack team, but to have that performance is just amazing. Amazing from the hands. Teddy also gets some love. He crushes Fearx and Diablo, of course. 6-0 and 10 on the Israel, 80 kill participation and 47.3k damage. And on Caitlyn, 8-1 and 1 and a 9 KDA, 64 kill participation and 26.5k damage. 14-1 and 11 and 25 KDA, 72 kill participation and 73.8k damage. He was magnificent on that, bro team that finally beat Fearx for the first time in like 4 years, to be honest. That is just a long drought they have to overcome, and they did, and it was amazing by Teddy. And yeah, Fearx is gonna have some issues this season. Just saying that. My team of the week was Owner. He was not great on the KT roster game. 0-2 and 0, 0 KDA, 0 kill participation, and 2.2k damage on Jarvan. Like, if your Jarvan is not in there most of the time, that's just horrible. KT roster created to them. They did well, but Owner I expected better from the best jungler in the world, for God's sakes. The best jungler in the world cannot have 0 kill participations, let alone 0 kills. Like, just not it. And his Vi game was worse. 0, 9, and 6. 9 deaths. 0.7 KDA, 50 kill participation, and 12.9k damage. 9 deaths. That is not good enough. Like, okay, fine. Vi is the kind of champion that can just go in there and that's it, and I'm okay with that. But to go 9 deaths, just not good enough. 0, 11, and 6, 0.5 KDA, 50 kill participation, and 15k damage. Not a great. Well, they did bounce back, but just not a great start to the entire season for T1 in terms of draft and preparation. But you got to give KT their flowers, man. KT and Perfect deserve their flowers, and my God, it was a great performance. Next up, on to the LPL, and yes, it's a 3 stars and team of the week in the LPL form. Give good one some love on the NIP team. Yes, it was not a great TWE team, but I mean, as when, Rafa gives some praise to the jungler, you have a good performance. And he did. 11, 1, and 3 on the Vi. See, Owner? This is not a good Vi game. That is a good Vi game. 11, 1, and 3, 14 KDA, 78 kill participation, and 16.6k damage. And he turned off the lights on Nocturne pretty well. 8, 0, and 10 with a perfect KDA, 78 kill participation, and 13.5k damage. 19-1, 13, 32 KDA, 78 kill participation, and 30.1k damage. Outstanding performance by the young NIP jungler. I think he's not young, but he's one outstanding performer by an NIP jungler. I think he's going to do well for this NIP team. I'm not sure they're going to be good enough to beat like the BLGs, the JDGs, and the TESs and the IGs of the world. I don't think so, but I believe that he's going to be one of the best players on an NIP team to carry forward into the playoffs itself. Speaking of BLG, I have 2 BLG members that deserve some top praise. First is Ben on that BLG team against JDG. 2, 3, and 10 with a 4 KDA, 57 kill participation, and 19.9k damage. Then on the NAR, 2, 2, and 3, 2.5 KDA at 63 kill participation at 21.4k damage. but his Renekton game was brilliant. I mean, we saw a Broken Blade Renekton game, not so great. This was the best top laner in the world showing up and show you how to play Renekton efficiently. Not great, but efficiently. 7, 2, and 5. 7, 2, and 7 with a 7 KDA, 56 kill per minute, and 36.7k damage. So 11, 7, and 20, 4.4, 57 kill per minute, and 26k damage. Also brilliant in that series is Knight. 10, 0, and 8 on the Orianna. Perfection, 86 kill per division, 25.5k damage. His Aurora was not great. 1, 1, and 3, 4 KDA, 50 kill per division, and 20.9k damage. And his Victor, 9, 2, and 8, 80.5 KDA, and 68 kill per division, and 51.3k damage. Overall, 23, 19, 13 KDA, 72 kill per division, and 32.6k damage. Then you think of yourself, Akeem. Akeem, look at that. More numbers. More higher numbers, Akeem. Higher numbers, bigger star. Like, no. That's not how it works. How it works is that if that performer plays good, he can be on the second or first star, of course. And the third star. That's how it works. Yes, Knight put up some great numbers, but he was never like the clutch player, of course, on that team. That was mostly been on that Renekton in game 3. And I think his performance on that Renekton and his brilliance on Jace, like 19.9k damage. I believe he got the most damage on that team in game 1. If I were to look, I believe that Ben has the most damage in game 1 against JDG. I bet you that he has the most damage on that game 1. Let's just see. I could be right. But I think that 19.9k is the most damage. Let's just see. Yep. Well, second damage to Knight. Second to Knight. But I think he'd say that over his overall numbers is great. His overall numbers is great. I think you know what? Let me just do something here. Let me just do something here. You know what? I think Knight deserves some love. Ben deserves the third star. And yeah. Yeah, there you go. All right. See, I think we're satisfied. Knight was brilliant on that. Knight was brilliant in this series, of course. Yeah, I know this is like higher numbers, all kind of stuff, but I think you can say that Knight did well and Ben was great in game 3, but just like the other two games were just not off the stuff. Although his Jace game was okay and all kind of stuff, but I can say Knight deserves some love. So he deserved that. So Knight second star, Ben third star, and there we go. For my team of the week, I had to go with Jackie Love, and I know Jackie Love was kind of like coming off of a long hiatus. He did well in the second series, of course, but his first series against IG is just like come on, people. Like G2 came from a long trip for Sao Paulo and still clap a team. I'm sorry, man, but you get no excuses in this one. 0-6 and 6 on the Jin, 1 KDA, 67 kill per division at 8.8k damage, and the Corki 0-6 and 0. 0 kill per division at 19.3k damage. Overall, 0-12 and 6, 0.5 KDA, 46 kill per division, and 28.1k damage. Now, he did get better in the second game. He did get better, especially on the Lucian, of course. But in his first game back after a long hiatus, I think this might be the one team of the week that I kind of feel understandable, of course, in terms of like long rust and all kinds of stuff. But even then, a team of the week is a team of the week, no matter how it comes. And now it's time for the team of the week for the LCP. And yes, I put in the Viennese saying is Ba Nogo Sa A Teemo Koa Toi. My Viennese are just absolutely horrible, and I get roasted by the Viennese community, which, by the way, is going to be my most watched, of course. So please don't hurt me, please. Anyways, Harky on NVK and ADC, 2-1 against Deep Cross in April 4th, 1-5-1 in Ash, not great, 0.4 KDA, 67 kill participation at 14.1k damage. Then on the Israel and Corky, he was phenomenal. 8-1 and 6, 14 KDA, 67 kill participation at 22.4k damage. Corky 11-3 and 11, 7.3 KDA, 96 kill participation at 31.5k damage. 96% kill participation. When your AD carry get 96% of kill participation, that is just showing you how incredible dominant that bot lane is. That's incredible. 29 and 18, 4.2 KDA, 76 kill participation at 22.7k damage. So incredible work by Harky on the NVK esports team. For the Team Secret Wells, I had to go with Dyer, and he was a brilliant on Gam versus Gam, by the way. Actually, Team Secret Wells versus Gam was an absolutely not close series, and he made it not close, Dyer. 9-0-11 on the rise, perfect KDA, 77 kill participation, and 25.3k damage. And on the Annie, 5-3-11, 5.3 KDA, 76 kill participation, and 26k damage. And 14-3 and 22 KDA, 12 KDA, 77 kill participation, and 51.4k damage. So we know Dyer is an incredible mid laner, of course. We saw him. I think I didn't watch like much LCP content, but I think we heard about Dyer being incredibly good. I think he needs to improve, of course, especially on the international stage, which is going to be the most scrutinized. Team Secret Wells are pretty much the favorites to win this entire tournament. Gamma falling apart. CFO, just I think we're going to see CFO later, right? I think we're going to see CFO just saying they're not looking good. It almost feels like Team Secret Wells tournament to lose at this point. I'm not saying to disrespect the other teams, but unless something incredible happens with, you know, Secret Hawks banks improving and all kind of stuff, it's Team Secret Wells tournament to lose. Speaking of CFO, they look absolutely stinker against, Soft Hawks bank. And yes, I would like to say Van deserves some credit, but I'm sorry, this was against a horrible CFO team. Like I will listen, the difference between Dyer getting a 2-star and Van getting a 3-star is just night and day. At least Gam competed in that series. This one was not competitive. It was no competition. Like, yes, I would give him the first star based on like beating CFO to a pulp. But even I would feel like, yeah, against a real opponent, I don't think you're gonna get the third star in those cases. I mean, you get the third star because of obvious reasons, but you're not gonna get like second or first star because you just help yourself against a crappier team. That's just how I do it in my subjective opinion. Okay, it's just my subjective opinion. If you beat down a not so good team, yes, you may get credit, but you're not gonna get as much credit as the other teams. I'm just saying. I just want a competitive game and a competitive series to feel like, okay, that's an incredible performance. You deserve some big stars and all that kind of stuff. But let's just give Van some love. 7-0-7 on the Jarvan, perfect KDA, 88 kill participation and 9.3k damage. And Lee Sin, 10-0-6, perfected KDA, 89 kill participation and 15k damage. Overall, 17-0 and 13, perfect KDA, 88 kill participation and 24.3k damage. So at least Van did all the work in a series that is just not competitive. And I decided to put the entire CFO team in the team of the week. Not just one player, the entirety of CFO in the entire team of the week. Like, plain and simple. I think they're probably my team of the week for the overall, of course. Because look at this. And by the way, I did not do like individual scores. I did like the entire team scores. 116-1 with a 0.1 KDA, 40 kill participation, and 9.5 KDA damage. And then for game 2, they got perfect game with 18 deaths, 0-18-0 with a nil KDA, 0 kill participation, and 8.3k damage. Like, I'm sorry, Anivia support has more damage than you guys. More damage than the entire team of CFO this week. That is a shameful display, my goodness. Anyways, we got the total 134-1, 0.06 KDA. Yes, I have to like simplify this to like the 0.100s. That's how bad this was. 40 kill participation, 40 kill KP per 40 kill participation percentage and 17.8k damage. I'm oh, CFO has to improve next week. They have to improve, or this is going to hurt them even more. Anyways, for CBLOL, now I never got to do the first week of CBLOL, so I decided to do like a 2-for-1 special. We're going to do the first week and the second week of CBLOL best starts. First off, by the way, this is, you notice the Portuguese, Tres Estrelas and Teemo de Semana. That's the 3 stars and the team of the week, by the way, in Brazilian terms in Portuguese. So if all the Portuguese are offending me, that's fine. Steps on the Red Cannons team that crushes loud. 9-2-11 on Xingjiao with 10 KDA, 67 kill participation percentage at 32.9k damage. Aatrox 5-0-9 on a perfect KDA, 82 kill participation at 20.5k damage. 14-2-20, 17 KDA, 72 kill participation, and 53.4k damage. Onwards to the second star. Cody deserves some love in the mid lane at 2-0 against Leviton. on the 29th of March, 707 on the Aries, 82 kill participation and 28.5k damage. And then Talia, 5-2 and 10, 7.5k DA, 68 kill participation and 38.5k damage. And now we get to the totals: 12, 2, and 17, 14.5 KDA, 34 kill participation and 72.1k damage. And finally, for Kaiwing, because I have to give some points some love, he was brilliant on the VKS. If you want to know how really bad CFO is, Kaiwing, by the way, was a former CFO member. And if you want to know how bad, and yeah, this is what happens when you lose your mid laner, your jungler, and your support in one fell swoop. You get this kind of performance. You get this kind of performance, which is pretty much obvious. Kai Wang on the support was brilliant on against Pain. 1-2-13 on a Lulu with a 7 KDA, 78 kill participation, and 7.5k damage. And then on Yumi, I know, yes, Yumi, but don't hate the player, hate the game, I guess. 3-1-16, 19 KDA, 79 kill participation, and 9.6k damage. Total 4-3-29, 11 KDA, 79 kill participation, and 17.1k damage. My team of the week was Sam Kiz. Was awful. Jarvan 057 with a 1.4 KDA. He did 100% kill participation, so that means he was not awful. He was not awful. 8.8k damage. Listen, at least he participated. At least he participated in the game. Like other than like the other jungler, like owner did not even participate in that one game. At least he participated. And even the Jin Zhao game, he was participating. 0-5 and 6, 1.2 KDA, 86 kill participation, and 9.9k damage. At least he participated in both games, but to go 0-10 and 13, no kills by a jungler. No kills. It's just awful. 1.3 KDA, 93 kill participation, and 18.7k damage. I know it's a little harsh to know that he just deserves a lot of flack because Akeem, he did some kill participation, but come on, dude. A jungler should like elevate the game, of course. We have seen right now that junglers are the ones that elevate the game. If your jungler does not elevate the game in terms of kills and all the kind of stuff, then I think you can say that he just doesn't look great. So yeah, I think I put Scam Kids as my Teemo of the week. Teemo de Semana, if you want to be specific. And finally, for this weekend, last weekend, on the first I'll go to Tattoo on the Dryria. This is a good example of junglers taking over the game. 2-0 against VKS. Pantheon 8-0-6 on the Perfection, 82 kill participation and 21.7k damage, and then in Aatrox 6-1-9 like Rey Mysterio, 15 KDA, 75 kill participation and 14.4k damage, 14-1 and 15, 29 KDA, 78 kill participation and 36k damage. Tuatu, probably my favorite player on that CBLOL team. I think he's my favorite player, along with Dodo. I think these are my two favorite players in CBLOL to watch, and I think I kind of admired CBLOL more and more as I watch it. And by the way, I watch it in 3x speed, which is a little nauseating for you guys, but I decided to watch it in my own pace. I watched some highlights in 2x speed, and I watched some CBLOL in 3x speed, just like get quicker time, of course. And then, of course, speaking of Dodo, he was brilliant on Loss against Leviton. 11-2-5 on Sivir with an 8 KDA, 76 kill participation, and 25.9k damage. And Yanara 8-1-3, 11 KDA, 65 kill participation, and 21.5k damage. Overall, 19-3-8 with a 9 KDA, 71 kill participation, 47.4k damage. He was brilliant. Brilliant on that Lost team that just beat Leviton, which I think we're going to say that Leviton are kind of like the worst team in the CBLOL right now, next to Fluxo, of course. And then for my third star, of course, Envy. He deserves some love. He needed a bounce back game after the stinker that he have, of course, against Red Cannons, and he did against Pain. And he was brilliant against Pain. 5-0-3, perfect KDA, 73 kill participation, 19.9k damage, and then LeBlanc 6-1-10, 16 KDA, 70 kill participation, and 29.1k damage. Total is 11-1-13, 24 KDA, 71 kill participation, and 49.1k damage. Remember, this is a guy who, by the way, replaced their mid laner before even like the rest of the series or the playoff series comes in. And he put us some shining performances in first stand. He put us some decent performances in first stand. And he's showing up, of course, this week after the stinker he has. So I think Envy is looking like more of a proper loud player. And, of course, with experience, I think that helps him, of course. And I believe someone is calling me. So let me just get back. Okay, I just came back, and now it's time for us to finish the video by giving you the Teemo de Semana or the Team of the Week to dismiss. Not great, not great. 0-2 against Furia, of course, and his jungle performance was just weak. Zinjao 0-5-1 with a .2 KDA with 50 kill participation and 70.7.3 K damage. And for Zayn, yeah, not even like the reincarnation of Zinjao did not help. 1-4-4, 1.3 KDA, 71 kill participation, and 8.8 K damage. He did improve, of course, he did improve, but the first series kind of dragged his numbers down. 1-9-5, 0.7 KDA, 67 kill participation, and 16.1 K damage. And yeah, not so good enough, of course. Just not good enough for him. So, anyways, that concludes the LEC and all the 3 stars and Teemo of the week. Of course, we'll do this next week, of course, for more of these stuff. And of course, I have a death of a team video that I will show you coming out. It is gonna be a little bit different. This 10th episode is going to be a little bit different from what I do. It's not gonna be like one of the big regions. It's gonna be a team that everybody knows about, but nobody wants to talk about. You all know what I mean. That might come in tomorrow, or if I feel like I got lots of stuff to do, maybe next week. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching. If you want, like, comment, subscribe to this whole video for more of League of Legends stuff, shorts and everything like that. I haven't done a short yet. I will do a short. And it's going to be Evolving T1. Yeah, it's going to be Evolving T1. That's going to be the short. So you like it, like, comment, subscribe, comment, and all kind of stuff. And I will see you next time. Hail to the victors. Congratulations, Michigan, on winning the national championship. And